So this is Professor Pinn. I don't have Professor Bun B with me today. We're in San Diego, California at the American Academy of Religion meeting. And I do have the good fortune of having with me Dr. Monica Miller. She's a professor at Lehigh University, but what you need to know is this. She's done groundbreaking work on the relationship between religion and hip-hop culture. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Pinn. Thank you so much.
So I've got a couple of questions for you. The first one is this. It's 2014. What do you think are a couple of the major developments relating to religion and hip-hop culture?
Wow, it's a big question and a lot of answers. So the first thing that I would suggest is that religion is being used in ways we could have never imagined, I think, even 10 years ago, and I think technology has a lot to do with that. I think we'll start to see a lot of transhumanist kind of stuff in hip-hop culture as it pertains to the religious. So not just explicit symbols and tattoos and prayers and crosses, on our necks, but I think that religion will be maximized through the use of technology. I think rappers are getting really good at sort of being everywhere at the same time, holographically and otherwise. So I think we're going to see a whole lot more from religion as it pertains to the body, as it pertains to style, and also as it pertains to a new grammar as well.
Oh, that's good stuff. Now it's 2024. What do you think will be major issues, major developments in religion and hip hop 10 years from now?
Wow. 2024. I think it could go in a variety of ways. So I think that the work that you and Professor Bun B are doing, I think it's really important because what it's doing is it's keeping the academic side of the conversation accountable. It's holding the discourse accountable to the insider nature and view, I think, of hip-hop culture as well. So I think the collaboration with artists we'll see continue. I think it's helping our field to stay honest and sort of be honest. And I mean, I think that the conversations are really helping each other so that they're mutual in that way. But if I were to kind of look at the landscape of culture and society, 2024, I think that hip-hop might sort of replace what we see as traditional religion on earth. And in fact, I think it's happening sort of now. So what religion and hip-hop in the academy looks like, I think that, I think rappers might replace professors in the classroom. And I think that, they might lyrically and sonically travel in new ways. I'm thinking like very new age futuristic type of stuff. And I think that religion's going to sound different. I think it's going to look really different. But if we pay attention to what scholars such as yourself have given us through ideas like complex subjectivity, we won't have a hard time spotting it if we sort of keep our ear to the ground, right? If we look for, particular markers in a wide variety of domains. So not being fooled by the hype and keeping our focus on sound and style and technology. I imagine in 2024 that, churches and other institutional spaces of religion, I think will, sort of be dissipate. I think that the relevance of institutional religion is beginning to decline. You have shown some of that in your own work. We know that the nuns are on the rise, and it'll be really interesting to see what role hip-hop plays. So there's already chatter that hip-hop has replaced the church, and there's also a lot of conversation that rappers have replaced preachers, that they've become, new figureheads, if you will, in the proclamation of new ways of life and philosophies and orientations. So I also think we're going to see more of an integration with science. I actually, when I listen to some lyrics in some of the newer music today, it just is, there's a language, there's a science behind it. it'll be interesting to see what happens. There's always been a science in hip hop, but I think that more traditional notions of scientific language and ideas will, I think, become more prominent within the discourse.
That's excellent information. Thanks so much. One last question for you. Tell the students about your work. What's on your plate? What you're up to?
Well, I have the good fortune of collaborating with you, Dr. Pinn, and also Professor Bun B. So we just had the Hip Hop and Religion Reader come out with Routledge, so we're really excited about that you and I just had that come out. So what's exciting about that is that this is sort of our first textbook in this field. So I think that by having a volume like the Hip Hop and Religion Reader available, where students can approach it, see where the field has been, see where the field is going, where we might want to go in the future, and who the major players are within the conversation. I think it's really nice that we now have a volume that students can make use of in that way, in terms of collecting all of the voices and pieces. And then I'm really excited about the volume that we have, Professor Bun B, yourself, and myself, that we have coming out with Bloomsbury, Religion and Hip Hop, Mapping the New Terrain in the U.S. And I mean, the pieces, in that volume, I think speak to the question that you just asked about the future of religion and hip hop. There's a lot of talk of conspiracy. You're talking about zombies. Professor Bun B is giving a real insider view on the complexity of religion and religiosity in his life, how he, approaches his work, how he comes to study what he studies, and how he makes his craft and his music. So we have, contributors from, various disciplines. So that's also part of the future of religion in hip hop, is that to do religion doesn't mean one has to be stuck in traditional models of religion or in traditional fields of religion. We have philosophy weighing in, right? We have, the field of education weighing in, anthropology, so that religion is expansive, as you have shown us in your own work, that this thing is not stuck within one field or one mode. So this new volume with Bloomsbury nicely organizes and highlights all of the really cutting edge topics that we're talking about in the field today. So one volume, looking where we've been, and this new volume highlighting where we are and where we're headed. I have another volume coming out with Equinox, Claiming Identity in the Study of Religion. We have a humanist volume coming out through the Institute for Humanist Studies, right, that will come out with Palgrave. So on humanism and how humanists should relate to, a sort of non-humanist world. But right now, as it involves religion and hip hop, what I'm really interested in is this turn towards performance art and Europe and high art. I'm interested in the claims to Black presence and recognition within hip hop, and looking at hip hop as a sort of diasporic, plane ticket, if you will, as a way to travel sonically and also physically. So I'm interested in what that looks like in the gallery. I'm interested in what that looks like in other parts of the world, also outside of the U.S., and what style has to do with it, and what religion has to do with it, and the technology involved. So not just traditional models of technology, but body-based aesthetics and sort of technologies of the self. So that's where I am right now as it pertains to the field, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. This is Professor Pinn talking with Dr. Monica Miller. Stay tuned.
Thank you.